Welcome one and all to another episode of Should You Farm It? In this series I farm every boss 50 times, 25 on first playthrough Mayhem 3, and 25 on true Vault Hunter mode Mayhem 3. I then look at all the loot I got and work out whether or not it's worth your time to farm that boss. With this method explained, let's get on to what really matters. What sort of loot did I get from Katagawa Ball? So out of 50 fights I received a total of 49 legendaries from the boss itself. This gave me an overall 98% legendary drop rate, which is about what I've come to expect of any decent boss fight on Mayhem 3. You want to be averaging at close to 1 legendary a fight, so this was an acceptable percentage. What's even better than a standard legendary is an anointed legendary, of which I received 3, giving just a 6% chance of getting a legendary anointed piece of gear. Although this isn't anything great, I did have a nice added touch of both my first and final fights giving me anointed weapons, which at least made the farming process feel a little more rewarding. In terms of the actual legendaries which dropped, it was a decent mix. I had 35 weapons, 5 shields, 6 grenades, and 3 artifacts. As someone who now has more legendary weapons than they know what to do with, I'm always happy to see non-weapon legendaries drop from bosses at a reasonable rate. As for repeat legendaries, the only one I saw statistically significant numbers of was the Tsunami, a legendary Malawon SMG that doesn't have an element. This is the second time we've had a non-legendary Malawon weapon feature on Should You Farm It, but fortunately this one is notably better. Although the weapon shows up as non-elemental, it does in fact fire with an element, 2 to be precise, shock and corrosion. This is because the weapon will intermittently fire off bonus shock and corrosion rounds, meaning you deal 2 elemental types of damage and non-elemental damage with this weapon. If playing as Amara, you can easily also add bonus incendiary damage, giving yet more elemental damage to the weapon. Although there's a nice variety of elements that this weapon can utilise, it is lacking a little in base damage, meaning it's not going to tear through enemies. Instead, you're more likely to be relying on damage over time to whittle away at your opponents, rather than just sprinting through and slaying them. This does make it a decent weapon for more of a hit and run playstyle character, if not the most powerful SMG on the market. Now I should say that I pre-record these ahead of time and Gearbox keeps making changes with various hotfixes, but, at time of recording at least, this weapon isn't anything I'd personally go out on my way for. That said, it's not a terrible weapon, so no points deducted for it being Katagawa Ball's main drop. The only other noteworthy items I had dropped from the boss were cosmetic ones. I had 7 skins and heads dropped from the boss, including the Trooper Shield Legendary Rarity decoration. A 14% cosmetic drop rate isn't enough for me to go back and farm this guy for such items, but it's still a decent amount. Now, on to the actual process of farming this boss. Katagawa Ball can be found at the very end of Skywell 27, and you'll first encounter him in the story mission Space Laser Tag. Katagawa Ball is one of the more interesting bosses to face. Whereas most bosses have a shield to break through before you can damage their health, this boss has armour to break through before you can kill it by depleting its shields. For this reason, you're going to want both a strong corrosive weapon and a strong shotgun too. As mentioned earlier, the Tsunami is a legendary gun that drops from this boss and can deal both of those elements, making it a reasonable choice for this boss fight. For me personally though, I used a corrosive shredder fire and a brainstormer shotgun, an upgrade of which actually happened to drop from this boss just a few fights in. As for the boss's attacks, it has quite a variety. The one I found most deadly though was its rocket barrage, telegraphed by extending 2 cylinders from its sides. You can actually stop this attack from happening by destroying the rocket extensions before they start firing, but it does take a hell of a lot of damage to break through them. A more effective strategy I found was to simply go for the central eye of the ball, its critical spot. By landing several crits over a short period of time, the Katagawa Ball appeared to get staggered and would sometimes stop at its attacks, proving that a strong offense is often the best defense. Failing this, you can simply try and stay mobile, dodging the rockets and any other attacks the ball sends at you. As a fairly mobile enemy itself, this can have you sprinting all over the arena, but it is probably the less risky option, albeit one that can extend the duration of a fight by an extra minute or so. Despite this, I found a good fight would only take me a minute, so as long as you've got some good gear, this fight isn't too bad a slog. With everything said and done, we go back to the title question. Should you farm Katagawa Ball? Personally, I'd say no. Although the fight isn't too bad, the rewards weren't amazing enough for me to recommend it outright. The farming process also has one major drawback I've neglected to mention so far, and that is the complete lack of an ammo vending machine anywhere close to the arena. What this meant was I was having to spend several minutes after each fight going around the arena and trying to gather up enough ammo to get me through the next fight. Matters weren't helped much by the fact I was using the Shredder Fire, a powerful gun for sure, but one that also eats up ammo faster than anything else. Sure, if you've got some great corrosive and shock-based weapons, but no good incendiary ones, then maybe this is the right boss for you to farm, but for most other people, you're not getting much extra for the inconvenience. Although certainly not the worst boss to farm, it definitely is far from the best. So, another episode down. Do make sure to leave a like if you're enjoying the series, and share this video with any friends you have who are considering farming this boss. Don't forget to also subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to ensure you never miss an episode. As always, thanks for watching. Sarge out.